So welcome once again to this breakthrough session. This is Breakthrough with Jeff, and we say we are here to live life with zero limits. We believe that if there are limits, we actually impose them on ourselves, depending on the perspective we are in, the story we are telling ourselves, the energy that we are living our lives, and the decisions you are making as a result of those patterns. And so welcome. As usual, I would like us to start with a deep breath, because it's always good to start from a place of energy. Okay, so take a deep breath. I want us to take it to 10. I don't know what's your energy level right now. Some of us have been working. Some of us have been, ministering to people, coaching them, training them. And sometimes our energy go down. When you come for such meetings, we want to raise our energy. So please take a deep breath into your belly. Hold it. Slowly out through the mouth. Everything out. Take another deep breath in. Fully in. Hold it. Slowly out through the mouth. Yes. So I'd like you to mentally take yourself to that 10, because if you're not playing at 10, then you're not going to get much from this session. You can only get from the level you're playing. So let me see how many people are at 10 right now as we start. 10 out of 10. 10 over 10. Let me see on the comment section. Ready. If you're ready, you're 10 out of 10. Just type ready there. I know we are good to go. Ready. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Ready, ready, ready. Yes. If you're not feeling 10 out of 10, I want you to take a deep breath, go back there, get ready, get ready, get ready. Thank you so much. 10 out of 10. Yes, yes, yes. If you find yourself, for any reason you're not at 10, you can change your focus, you can change your mind, you can change your mental focus, you can change what you're telling yourself, your story. And you can also change your physiology by breathing deeply in to your body and out, and really anchor yourself to that peak state. Now, when it comes to breakthrough and when it comes to creating the life that you desire and the life that you deserve, there's a very crucial topic that I feel it fell at a very interesting season, and this is the topic of communication. Like, this is so crucial to your success. You have no idea. Like, I see many people struggle to understand what is the source, what is the linchpin to their success. And here we're talking about breakthrough. This is a session in breakthrough. This is a breakthrough session. And so one of the tools of breakthrough is really to understand how to communicate. This is, I feel communication is underrated. Like, the way you communicate is going to equal the money you're going to make, is going to equal the breakthroughs you're going to get, the favor you're going to get. You know, sometimes even God wants to unleash favor on you, but the way you're communicating, it's not going through. Communication is the linchpin to your breakthrough, really, how you communicate. And I know there are so many people we communicate to, but let me see on the comment section, what is the most important communication? Is with who? Someone unmute. This time, just unmute. Just unmute yourself. Don't type, just unmute. The most important communication is with who?
With God.
God.
With God, Stephen. Thank you so much. With God. Someone else, please try. What is the most important communication?
And also with self.
Yourself.
With self. With self. Of course, God lives within you, and with God is easy, and you can just connect. Maybe not easy for some people, but if there's a relationship, it's easy. But I tell you, the most important is with yourself. how you communicate to yourself, because you can have a good relationship with God, but a very bad relationship with yourself that impact relationship with people. So relationship with self is so crucial. Right now, how you feel most of the time depends on how you're communicating with yourself. How you feel. Now, let's do some evaluation here. What is the most common emotion that you feel in a normal week? What is the emotion that you feel most of the time? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it courage, determination? You can unmute yourself and tell me. Today, I want us to engage more audio than typing, because typing sometimes takes time. What is the most common? I want you to think, go within, be honest with yourself, be real. Ask yourself, what is the most common emotion that I feel most of the time? Who wants to go first? We can share this. Who wants to go first? What's the most common emotion that you feel most of the time? Let me see. Who wants to go first? Just share. When you share, you grow. We grow through sharing. Who wants to go first? What is the common emotion you feel? Some of us, you feel love throughout the day, throughout the week. You're just feeling you're in love. Once that this season of Valentine's, you're just in love. Or joy, peace, courage, determination, confusion, love, lack. I don't know. What do you feel most of the time? Anger, frustration, sadness. Yes, please go ahead. Let's start us up.
Okay, sometimes I feel frustrated, especially when my body is unwell. But
Yes.
when I'm in good spirit, happy always.
So you're saying sometimes you feel frustrated, but sometimes you feel happy.
Yes.
Which one do you feel most of the time? Happy or frustration? If you give them, 1 to 10, which one is higher?
Happy.
Happy more. Happy
Yes.
more. Okay. But there is also frustration. Okay. Next, let's share. What are your common emotions that you feel in a week? Coach Bridget, and then Ruth.
Yeah, mine is anxiety. I had typed anxiety.
Anxiety.
Yes, just general worry about things.
Yeah.
You feel like I don't have it all together sometimes.
Yes.
Yes.
So anxiety and worry most of the time. Thank you for sharing, Coach Bridget. Let's go to Ruth. What are some of the emotions that you feel most of the time, Ruth?
Good evening. How are you, Coach?
I'm very well.
Yes, thank you. For me, I think I feel most of the time very overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But also a sense of satisfaction in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But also feeling I'm not exactly engaged in what I'm supposed to be doing.
Feeling you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Wow. So overwhelmed, sometimes satisfaction, and sometimes that sense of guilt or judgment. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Now, thank you for sharing, and thank you everyone for that. All of us, we have all these emotions that we feel that actually control our lives. And this is how we communicate to ourselves and to the world around us, and even to God. Do you know that God does not hear your English? Like God does not sit there listening how, the amount of English you're releasing and how fluent you are. God listens to your emotions. That's the prayer that will be heard in heaven. Not your big statements. Kingdom does not understand English as a language. It understands the language of emotion. That's why when Jesus gives the example of the woman that had nothing but the last coin, but she feels like, she's so devoted to God, she's giving everything. And Jesus said, I've seen her heart. I've seen her emotion. And that's actually what gets answered. We don't get what we want, we get what we feel deep inside. It's called the law of attraction. So you're always getting what you're feeling most of the time. And some of us, we want joy, peace, and love, and we're always feeling uncertainty, confusion, lack. And all this is coming into our lives because you don't get what you want. You get what you feel. When you go before God through prayer, anything that you don't feel is not prayer. It must be heartfelt prayer. That's a prayer that is guaranteed of answer. And even if you don't pray, you're praying. Right now, you're praying. Because they're antennas of the kingdom. The kingdom has got those, communication antennas that pick your emotional frequency. Not your voice, how much you shout. And that's why Jesus said, let not your prayer be demonstration of how you can shout and how bad you're going. No, it's how you feel. Emotions are powerful. Anthony Robbins says this all the time, that your success will be to the level of your emotional mastery. And there's so much teaching out there about emotional mastery, emotional intelligence, because the world has come to realize how success, whether in the kingdom or in the world, will be linked to the quality of your emotions. Success of relationships, success of your marriage, success of your job, success of your family relationship is the quality of your emotions. Nothing more, nothing less. And yet we ignore this area of our lives. We say, or we accept it to be, this is just who I am. Najua, sisi ni Wameru, sisi ni Wakamba, sisi ni Wagikuyu. You actually just want to find comfort in defining yourself with your tribe that actually expresses some emotions a certain way. And you use that cliche to hide there. Now, in this session in Breakthrough, we are taking responsibility of our emotions. That's the way to win. And you win big because you're becoming a magnet. Now, let me rephrase that. You are a magnet of what you feel most of the time. Let me just replay that. Let me rewind and replay that again. You are a magnet of what you feel most of the time. That means you cannot blame God if you don't have what you want. God is sending to you the frequency of what you're asking through the emotions you feel most of the time. It's coming to you. Ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. But you're not asking by intervention of loud prayers. You're asking through the emotion you feel most of the time. Those emotions you're feeling most of the time. You're asking, you're making a request. And we don't get, I can repeat this over and over again, we don't get what we want. We always get what we feel most of the time. And so communication, you're communicating with yourself through the emotions you feel most of the time. And that communication is affecting other communications around you. It's affecting how you live your life. It's affecting how you perform your duties, whether you are a coach, whether you are a mentor, whatever it is that you do, a therapist. How you're doing it is coming from your state of emotions. So you're becoming a magnet of good if all you feel is good. You're becoming a magnet of lack and depression and worry if all you feel is that. And the more you experience that emotion on a weekly basis, the more it becomes now your emotional home. It becomes familiar because the brain is always looking for a familiar place where it can find a home. The human brain is created to find a home in the familiar. And some of us, we want to make familiar that zone of taking massive action. We want to make familiar that zone of courage. We want to make courage familiar so we can take courageous decisions. We want to make boldness a familiar zone. We want to make love a familiar zone. So now that becomes our magnet. And every morning, our rituals, our daily values and actions and habits are magnetizing our magnet of courage, of love, of peace, of joy every single day. And so I want you to put a signal. I want you to put a signal of emotion so that when you feel bad, you know that this is not a joke. There's a spiritual frequency happening you're going to reap tomorrow. So if you're consistently feeling frustrated, just stop there. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Go back home to love, to God, to joy, no matter what. No matter what. Find a way to go back. So that's the idea of this meeting in Breakthrough, is for us to be able to master our emotion and get the level of emotional intelligence where we can magnetize that which we deserve to have. We can bring it to us. I'm sure you've seen people that have so much. In fact, they have that which you desire. They have it in abundance and they don't even look like they are trying. And yet you, who considers yourself a good person, you struggle with that. You struggle getting it. You struggle bringing it into your life because what you're doing is you're pursuing things instead of being in the vibrational frequency of that thing that you desire. And whatever you desire right now already exists, but in a certain frequency, in a certain emotion, you must get there. You must get there. So how we communicate with ourselves communicates to the universe around us. Let me repeat that. I like to repeat the key points. How we communicate to ourselves communicates to the universe around us. Like I said, God is not hearing your prayer of loud English, big English word. God is listening to the frequency of your emotions and they are getting answered. Heaven is very kind. It gives you what you're asking. Ask and you shall receive. But James tells us we ask amiss. We are asking what we don't want. How are you? Have you ever seen anyone asking what they don't want? We don't do that. So James is actually talking about our emotional frequency. That's what you're asking. You're asking all the time. You're asking God, you're asking the universe, give me frustration. I love frustration because you're always feeling frustrated. So you're becoming a magnet for frustration, attracting frustrated people, frustrated boss, frustrated spouse, frustrated kids, frustrated everything because you are frustrated. And you cannot change your life by changing people around you. The person to change is me. And that's where you get the breakthrough, by realizing that the change is inside you. Now, when we get to the level of maturity, because this transformation is about maturing in the way we communicate to ourselves, then you realize even the emotions we call negative emotions are actually not that negative. There are messages. So this is a higher level of interpretation of those emotions. And once you get the message, they leave your body. But the truth is, if fear has been in your life all your life, you've never gotten the message of fear. So fear will never leave you until you get the message. So I want you to look at the negative emotion, the frustration, the fear, the anger, the sadness. They carry with it a positive message to you. They are telling you to deal with something in your life. They're telling you deal with something. But because we don't look within, we rebuke it in Jesus' name. I rebuke the spirit of fear, I bind it. And tomorrow you're still afraid. Why? Fear is a messenger. Fear is telling you, get prepared. Fear is actually an emotion that is coming to serve you and tell you, get prepared, get ready. What is the message of frustration? When you're frustrated, something is not working. Hello? That's the message. And then you're frustrated and you keep on knocking the same door year after year after year, and you're frustrated, and frustration is coming from wherever it came from to serve you and tell you something is not working. But because you're not listening, you keep being frustrated. And what happens? The ripple effect. The more frustrated you are, the more you're attracting frustrated people in your world. The more you're attracting a world of frustration. The more you get used to it, the more it becomes helpless. This is what I want you to write down this if you're writing. This is what Tony Robbins said actually, that the quality of our communication is determined by the meaning we assign to the events of our lives. So it's all about, what does this mean? So if when you're afraid, the first meaning is, oh my God, Satan is against me. Nimerogwa, I've been bewitched and village elders are not happy. That meaning will determine how you feel. So now these emotions you are feeling during the week, during the month, during the year, they are coming from somewhere. They're coming from a backdrop of meaning. What does this mean? I mean, have you ever seen two people, they have the same experience, but different meaning? Now that is called intelligence. Emotional intelligence is determined by the quality of your meaning. If you have two people and one always gives the worst case scenario in any situation, they always give the worst meaning, and then they feel the worst and they mess up the relationships around them because of the meaning they assign, that means their emotional intelligence is low. A high emotional intelligence means higher quality meaning. Now you can look at something and say, wow, this means that this is not, it can mean that God is unhappy with you. It can mean that God is preparing you for something. It can mean that you're not ready, get ready, that you're being told, meet someone, talk to someone, get ready, do something. But because you don't get the message, you're always at the same place year after year after year. You not move. Hey, it doesn't matter how much anointing oil is put on your head. You're not going to move. Because the kingdom is within. It's not outside there. The kingdom, the change is within. It's inside of you. If you change outside, you can be given new salary, new things, new income, but you're still the same person if the quality, the level of meaning you assign to the events of your life does not change. Father, may you help us. May you give us the wisdom to assign a high quality meaning to the events of our lives. There's a guy called Jim Rohn. I followed him for many, many years, and he's one of my biggest influencers. And apparently died on my birthday, which was very spooky, by the way. And he believes that we become who we are. We become who we are through the quality of meaning that we assign in our events. And listening to that, I'm like, okay, so God has given me everything in this life that I need to change. Change is in my hands. I'm not waiting on God. God is waiting on me. It's me to make the change. And if lemons have been thrown to you because there are people, oh, Jeff, you don't know what I'm going through. You know, I lost this, I lost this. Loss is a meaning. There are two people. There was one who say, wow, it's a loss. Oh, I've lost that person. It's such a loss. And then they take 10 years of crying. Someone else will be like, wow, he lived such an amazing life. What can I learn from him? Because of him, because of his life, this is how I'm going to live my life. And from that moment on, it's like their heart is set on fire. Same event, different meaning. The quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your meaning, the meaning you assign. So there's no bad event. There's no bad event. Yeah, Jim Brown used to say, anything you'll ever go through, there are over 1,000 people on the planet going through exactly the same thing, but they have a different experience. A different experience. Research. Now we are more people, millions of people. Anything you're going through, the worst thing, you know, helplessness in humanity comes in when you tell yourself, I'm the only one. Is it Elijah or was it Elisha who said, Lord, I'm the only one left? And God is like, no. I have thousands of soldiers who are standing and they're going through the same thing as you, and they are strong. They are strong. When you tell yourself, I'm the only one who's been through that, this is a loss. Because just someone dumped you. And then you tell yourself, oh, I'll never be married. That's a story you tell yourself. Out of a meaning, you tell yourself, oh, he's the only one. He's the only one I got in this world. So ideally, there is no, we need to establish a few things here. Facts. Negative emotions from today, they are messages. They are messengers. They are not negative. You see it as negative, you disempower yourself. They are messengers. But this messenger, when they come and camp in your home week after week, day after, that means you're not hearing. That means your ears are blocked totally. If you have messengers camp in your home week after week, messengers just come. They don't even sometimes even sit for a cup of tea, because they are honoring the master's, you know, message. They're not delivering their own message. They're just coming as a messenger. But then the messengers come, you want to marry them. They are messengers. Hello, let them go. You're married to that emotion. Some of us don't want to let go of those emotions. We are married to them. It's a marriage. We feel bad to let, in fact, we can philosophically have all these reasons why we must feel this, must feel sad. We must feel sad. We must feel depressed. We must feel all these emotions. Let me tell you this, life waits for no one. As you feel that, no, life is moving. Gurudumu ya maisha inaendelea. It's moving. Life does not wait for your excuses. Life does not wait for your frustration. Life does not wait for your pauses. Life keep on going. It's moving. And God is, the universe is, you know, choosing the next person, whoever is ready. You know, so life keeps on moving without you. That's just a fact. Life will not wait for you. Life will not. So emotional intelligence, it's all about how long you take with those guests we are calling negative emotions. How long do you take with them? How long do you host them? 5-course meal for fear, 5-course meal for anger, 5-course meal for depression. And then you are engaging them. At that time, you just go and you're thinking, you're making an engagement with these emotions. If you count the cost of them staying with you, and remember, they just coming to serve you in a split moment like that. You get it and move on. And I want you to declare, since you're in this program, declare, and since you're a child of God, declare you are intelligent enough to know the message you're getting. You're intelligent enough to know the message you're getting. Tell yourself that story over and over and over again until you get to the place of flow, where you just feel something, you get the message, you act, you get the results. Heaven is smiling because the child of God is developing, you're growing, you're becoming better, you're bettering your world, you're making an impact for the glory of God. It's not just for you, it is for the people around you. It is for the people around you. We are here to make an impact. And so the things we call negative emotions and what we call bad events, you may think that the worst event could be your biggest breakthrough. In fact, the worst breakdown at any moment can turn into your best breakthrough ever. Personal testimony. The thing that really took me down, like I felt like I was hit so badly. Those are my moments of breakthrough. And so sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I'm breaking down, I'm breaking down. It's a matter of your interpretation. When you look at the other side, and some of us, we cannot look at the other side because we've told ourselves this is the only side. May God give you the wisdom to look at the other side so you can begin to see that there's another way. In fact, there are thousands of ways to perspectives that you can look at something. Let me pause there. Any questions? Any questions coming up as we discuss this before we go deeper? Emotions and how we communicate to ourselves. Let me see. You can unmute yourself. Today we're saying we're not doing the messages because I can't see your message. Somehow I don't know my screen. But you can unmute yourself. What is coming up? Sheila, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. I was just wondering about the place of resilience. I was listening to you say, talking about the messages, and a message keeps coming and you keep going back there. It's not working, you keep going back there. But then how do you tell, like, this is an exam, I'm failing and I need to take the resilience, study harder, work
Brilliant.
smarter and do it?
Yeah.
Or this is really a message where I just need to let go? This was a good thing, but it's not for me.
Yes, it's not working. Now, the intuition, when you learn to look inside, not just externally, it becomes easier with practice. The more you practice, the more it becomes easy for you to know and know. In fact, you don't need another day and another day to push. You can know from the first knock on the door. This is God wants me here. This is something, so that conviction that God wants me here, and you can feel it from deep inside yourself. You can feel that green light from within, not people telling you, not really just in your head, not something that you felt in the moment, but you have that conviction. Now, what I'm talking about, you need to move on from is that repetitive over the years, and you're getting frustrated, there's frustration. There's waiting that is graceful. In fact, this is how I can make the distinction. You can wait and there's grace for waiting, and you just feel the grace is there. There's something God is calling me here. But there's a waiting of frustration. You're hurting other people. You're hurting yourself. Something is not right somewhere. There's no grace there's no, you don't feel as though this is the right thing. And so that intuition, keep a little, some sense of focus within, even as you look without, so that you know, where is this coming from? What is the inspired action? And even if you're waiting for something, every single day you get that inspiration from within. What is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to do? Take those small baby steps, because most of the time that is where you're growing, in those baby steps. Because you can be waiting for something, but then let's say it's a job, you're waiting for a job and you've been knocking a door and it's not opening, and then you just get inspired, call someone, please make that call. Because the universe is working with you. God is working with you and through you. There's something called synchronicity. Synchronicity is when everything aligns. Everything aligns. You align with your job, you align with the miracle, you're aligned with the breakthrough, you are at the same frequency. And I'm sure all of us have done this. You think about someone and you call them and they tell you, I was just about to call you. I don't know if you've ever been there. Or you think about someone, you go out and you meet them, you just find them as though they were waiting for you. That is synchronicity. Now, people that are synchronized are people that are on the right vibrational frequency. And so in the waiting, as I answer Sheila, where are you waiting from? Are you waiting from frustration, or are you waiting from grace and peace and love? Because I can wait from grace, I can wait from peace. I'm waiting, but I'm not frustrated. Because if I wait from frustration, even if that thing comes to pass, it will not be a blessing. Even if you get that job, it may not be a blessing. But there's the waiting. Like you are in ICU, you are being operated on. You have to wait. God is working on you. You have to wait. There's something that is being done. And when that happens, God gives you grace. You are not frustrated. You don't even feel the need, to change, because you know that something is being done within you. So you need to make that distinction. There are people who just wait, but there are people who wait because God is working on them. There are people who wait because their character is being worked on. And there is grace, there is provision, there is sustenance at that period. But if there is frustration, something is wrong. In fact, the Master Jesus Christ said, do not allow these emotions to sleep with you. If you're angry, don't go to bed with anger. So it's the same thing with frustration. If you're feeling frustrated day after day after day after day, and you're going to the same place, you're frustrated every day, you're lying to yourself. And some of us, this is the way we do with our jobs. We are not fulfilled, we are frustrated. And your heart is telling you, I don't like this place. And you keep going there over and over and over. Now that persistence can cost your life, because the statistics show that the greatest amount of heart attacks happen on Monday morning between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. because of people reporting to work that they hate. Someone is just sitting like this, their heart has told them again and again, I don't like this place. And then one day it just attacks you, waits for you to sit and attacks you there before your computer. Your heart can attack you because the heart is sending you messages that you're not hearing. And what keeps us not really responding to these messages and honoring the messages is just fear. We are afraid if I leave this job, I'll be jobless, I'll be, this and this. We tell ourselves a story. It's just fear. And fear is another emotion again that is telling you, okay, then prepare. Because fear is telling you, okay, so if you're afraid, prepare. Get a coach, get a mentor, get something, get ready to get out, because you must get out or your heart is going to attack you. And now you're dealing with a bigger, health problem now. not just emotional, now it's physical. So you see, some of these physical issues are coming from an emotional basis, that is coming from the meaning we assign in our lives. And you are totally in control of how you feel. You know, there are many things you're not in control of. Number one, you're not in control of your boss. You're not in control of your spouse. You're not in control of other people. In fact, you're not in control of your kids. You cannot control anyone. You're not in control of how people think about you. You're not in control of how they rate you. You're not in control. In fact, you're only in control of two things: your thoughts and your emotions, period. You are not even in control of waking up tomorrow. I know you trust that building you're in, but hey, you don't know. It can come down anytime. We don't know what is underneath it. We don't know. There's so much uncertainty. You're not in control. It's an illusion when you tell yourself you're in control of anything external. We don't know. We don't know about tomorrow. We can only know who holds tomorrow, but we don't know about tomorrow. You can wake up and the sun refuses to rise. That's a possibility. You can wake up and realize east is west and north is south. You can wake up and realize the earth is, dancing like this. Anything can happen in this generation. Anything. You wake up and the dollar right now is going down like this. In a few weeks, the shilling was going down like this. Right now, the shilling is getting better. The dollar is going down. We don't know how fast it is going to fall. Of course, there are so many predictions and prophecies about the dollar that it may crash at some point. You don't know. You don't know. You can wake up tomorrow and it's crashed, it's gone. You can wake up tomorrow and the dollar has gone all the way to 200 shillings. You don't know. You're not in control. And I see people when they ask me about investment options, I'm like, okay, so investment is, you have to have faith. You're not in control. You don't control these things. But you can control how you feel especially when investments don't go right, when things don't go your way. How you feel, you can control that. And that is what we call intelligence. Intelligence, emotional intelligence, is about how do I feel if things happen in my life. And what do I believe? Are they happening to me or are they happening for me? Things are happening for me. When you believe that things are happening for me, your life totally changes. And so I want to give you a technique. When a feeling comes to you, when you feel something, please name it. Name it specifically. Don't use big words, just name it. What are you feeling? Name it, write it down. Don't fear it. Don't think if you say I'm afraid, then all the cousins of fear will just come and camp in you. No. In fact, when you name it, you disempower it. Name it. So you write it down, you say, oh, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. And then ask yourself, where in my body am I feeling afraid? Where is fear in my body? Then you actually physically take time, take a deep breath, slow down, find where it is. It is part of the process. Find where it is. Okay, in my chest. Okay, slow down. Close your eyes. And really, without fearing it, find out what is the message of this emotion. In fact, have a conversation with it like it's a human being. Ask it, what's your message for me? And then as you ask that, your eyes are closed so you can have 100% focus. Your subconscious mind can engage. What's your message for me? Fear. Then you close your eyes. Fear is telling you you're not ready. You're not ready for your mission. Okay. So the first thing when you get the message, tell it thank you. Tell that place, just say thank you. Thank you for sharing. Feel it. If it's worry, just connect with that place because it's serving you. It's a messenger. It's not an enemy for you. It's a messenger. Messengers are not to be treated as enemies, even though they are coming from a different kingdom. Treat them as messengers. What's the message of frustration? Why am I so frustrated? This is not working. Okay, that means there's another way. And you can be frustrated because this is not the only way. And you see, if I'm frustrated with one of the ways, and I don't want to try any other way, that puts a question on my emotional intelligence. Because someone else comes, the same situation, they pick a different, easier way, an easy path, shortcut to the promised land, 11 days. Woke up for 40 years. So when you're frustrated and then you tell yourself this is the only way, then you put yourself in prison. And then you tell yourself, I am being persistent. No. You know, intuitively, you know when the wait is becoming, okay, a little bit too long. And you're like, okay, so what is another way? Always ask yourself, what's another way of looking at this? So you feel it. Remember the steps I've given you. Number one, identify. What is that feeling? What am I feeling? That's the first step. Then number two, connect with it in your body. Where is it? Sometimes you tell yourself you're afraid, but when you go to second step, when you ask, where is it in my body? You realize actually there's no fear. There's nothing. It's just, you take a deep breath and you're good. Where is it in my body? Then if you feel it there, then you know, okay, there's a message here. What is the message of fear? What is the message of frustration, of anger, of sadness? What is the message? Then you find the message, thank it. Just say thank you. You can thank it and then thank God that you've gotten that awareness, because many people take years before they get their breakthrough. They take years before they ever know that they were in a prison of anger. They were in that place of, they are not getting the message. 40 years of being married and you are always sad. There are people who've been married for so long and all they know is sadness. You've never seen that person smile. You've never seen joy on that face. All they know is sadness. And others are happy at work, but when they reach home, they just switch to sadness. Look like a robot, nothing, no joy, nothing. Sadness, anger, always coming from us. This is a message, and the message is not about the other person that you think makes you sad. By the way, there's a rule here of emotions and emotional mastery. No one can make you sad. No one can make you feel anything. You feel like that because of your meaning. No matter what people have done to you, they cannot make you. And let's use the 1,000 people rule of Jim Rohn. There are 1,000 people outside there having a different experience and they've been done the same thing. They did not blame people. Now, the moment you blame someone, you become a victim of circumstances. And then you go and share with your friend, they will share you, oh, that's so sad. Oh, how can they do that? You're looking for company because victim looks for company. And once you get company, you're getting confirmation, you're building a belief. And you build a belief, you build a story, you build a home, and you make comfort in that home. You don't want to move. You don't want to move. It becomes your home. May the Lord deliver us from homes we've created emotionally out of our meanings that are derived from fear. And because we did not get the message. So I want you to write all those emotions you feel and find their messages. What are they telling you? What is the action? So if someone said they are worried all the time, what is that message worry is telling you? If you're frustrated, what is that message? I want you to find the message and write it on your coaching journal. And please always have a journal, a coaching journal with you if you want to grow. So you are developing curiosity. What is this emotion trying to tell me really? You're talking to yourself. Like, talk to yourself sometimes. What is this emotion trying to tell me? What is fear trying to tell me? Because I want you to be a master of your destiny. I want you to work with God. Make God's work easy for you to be a transformer of nations. How will you change nations when you can't change yourself? How will you change the world when the world inside of you is in chaos? And some of us, we don't want to look within. In fact, it's very uncomfortable. Let me encourage you. The journey to your transformation will begin with a fearless look within. And dance with the fear. Ask fear, what do you want? Okay. Dance with it. Dance with it. Dance with fear. There's a step for where you allow yourself to be fearless. You're like, okay, so what? Bring it on. Oh, I want you to do this. This is actually, you have to work on this and this. Oh, I'm not afraid. Okay, really? I'm ready. I've worked on it. I'm ready right now. I'm ready. I've worked on that. I'm ready. I'm prepared. I remember the first time I spoke to over 1,000 people. No, not over 1,000 people, 5,000 people, because I've spoken to 3,000 people before then. But this was 7,500 people in one of the stadium, Kasarani Stadium, the I don't know what they call it, the enclosed one. And that was huge. And because it's something new, and I was a new coach, and it was a big event for if you know the Wings to Fly conference. It's a conference that brings international speakers, and then the president those days used to speak in the event. And because I was one of the youngest speakers, I'm actually put to inspire these guys. Just before the president comes and speaks, I'm telling you, I went through all the butterflies and stuff, and I'm told, everyone reminds me, you know what? They're calling me every 5 minutes. Do you know you're speaking? What time you're speaking? Do you know who you're speaking before? Do you know? So as to give that, it's like a motivational talk to inspire these people. The lights are there, the cameras are there. And I felt so afraid. I felt like, oh my God, my heart was going at no exaggeration over 200. Like it was, I felt it. But then I remembered this message. I asked myself, okay, so what's this? What is this telling me? Get prepared, get ready. So what does getting ready mean? Okay, not my message, but fear tells me you're not ready. So my intuition told me your physiology is not ready. Like physically, you're already in your script, but you're not ready in your state. Okay, so you can be ready in your script, but you're not ready in your state. And because I understand physiology and how to change your state, I took a deep breath. I just held a strong, deep one. I went and then held it out and out. And then I excused myself, went to the washroom, and I'm speaking to myself because I knew changing your state also relates to changing your story. So I'm like, this is my moment. This is my mom. This is my moment to be a voice for God. This is my moment to be a voice for God. This is a moment for me to be a voice for God. I am a voice for God. I am God's voice. This is a moment. So it's coming. It's coming. I'm talking to myself. This is a moment. If someone followed me to the washroom, I mean, this guy is crazy. It's a moment for me to shine for God. So I'm a voice for God. I am a voice for God. I'm a voice for God. I am standing here as a voice for God. And I took a deep breath. Just felt ready. I just felt ready. And in a few minutes, about 3 minutes, it was my time to deliver my 15 to 18 minutes speech. And I remember how electrifying that was. Even myself, I knew, it was like out of character. Like this is grace. So fear served me. If I went there, just the same way I came from my lunch, with my full belly, and I'm coming to speak to these so many people, and all I'm thinking is the story in my head and a script in my head, but my energy is low. Fear served me. And so from the washroom, I'm telling fear, thank you. My posture has changed. I'm showing up strong. I'm showing up energized with a smile on my face. I'm ready for this thing. Let's rock. Let's roll. Let's roll. And yet, a few minutes ago, I was at almost 1 out of 10. At this moment, I was at 10. In fact, when they invited me, I ran to the podium. I ran there. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready. Come on, let's do this thing. Let's do it. I was ready. And I'm telling you, we made connections with young people. Today, some of those young people are my paying clients because they heard that speech, which was about 15 minutes. But today, they are my clients. Then they were just young people in the Wings to Fly, program. Right now, they are working, and they are my clients. Because there was a connection. I was flowing in a certain state, emotional state. This is so important. That's how we communicate to the world, because we are communicating to ourselves. If it's not working here, it will not work there. The way we communicate to our spouses, to people around us, is determined by the way we communicate to ourselves, nothing else. And now I would like you to make a distinction here, my friend. When we are in relationships and we are communicating with other people, sometimes you don't understand people because of the way they react towards you, and they react to what you tell them, and they react to things that you mean well. What do you do? What do you do to people who are always reacting? And what does it mean? Does it mean they are bad people? Are they wicked? Are they what does it really mean? I'll give you a meaning that is going to help you in raising the standard of your emotional mastery. And this is it. Any reaction you get from anyone is either a loving response, like they will respond to you from love, or a cry for help. That person is hurting. And that's why I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and they have an issue, in his marriage, and he tells me she's so abusive to me. And I helped him to understand she's crying for help. And he sees her as a giant tiger that is always ready to tear him apart. And this is an executive person out there, is an executive, and when he comes home, he's a nobody. And I told him, consider this. And this is not the only person. I mean, when it comes to relationship, this is like the core message. Understand that the person who is bringing pain to you, they are not big person. They are hurting. They are crying for help. It's a cry. They are communicating to you. They're saying, help me, help me. When someone is abusing you, they're actually crying for help. It's a cry for help. But then the interpretation is, who do they think they are? They are so full of themselves. They're this. If you look at it from, it's a cry for help. You're going to help so many people. So any hurting person, Joyce Meyer says this all the time, hurting people hurt people. Hurting people are crying for help. And this is why this world needs coaches, mentors, therapists, life workers, people. There's so much cry for help. My goodness, it's in every direction. Isn't it so near you? Like you can hear the cry for help. In your home, cry for help. In people so close to you. Anyone that is hurting another person, that's a cry for help. Because there are only two responses. It's either a cry for help or a loving response. Now, from here, I want us to make a decision, because this is a process. We're going through a process in this breakthrough. Before we meet in the next meeting, I want us to be growing and growing and growing and becoming better and better, so that this breakthrough process can make sense to you and your generation and your assignment that God has for you. I want us to make a commitment today, because no matter how much research you do, there's no good that will come. There's no good that will come from you finding a reason why you should feel bad. There's no good that will come out of that. It will just attract more and more bad energy. I want us to make a decision. No matter how bad people treat us, we are going to respond to give a loving response. This is the mature way. This is the more intelligent way. Now someone comes mad at you and then you're mad at them. You're not serving them. You're not serving them. Go to that place of love. How can I help you? I can see you're frustrated. I can see you're angry. Is there anything I can do for you? Then he lowers his voice. She lowers her voice. She's coming to your level, because you are God's voice. You are God's servant. But if they raise your voice, they are crying for help, and then you're crying for help. Hey, hey, hey. I mean, can you imagine such a relationship where the wife is crying for help, the husband crying for help, the kids are crying for help? That is a definition of hell. People are living in hell. And you're saying, I don't want to die and go to hell. You're already there. And the path out of hell is to make a commitment that from today on, you will communicate from a place of love. And you can only do that when you love yourself completely and fully. You love yourself too much to suffer. Because that time you're feeling angry, you're actually suffering. Tony Robbins says that you should choose how much you want to suffer. Some of us, you don't mind suffering for a year. Some of us is 10 years. Others are so generous. They're saying, maybe my lifetime, I can just donate my life to suffering. More than a day is a long time. In fact, more than an hour. Because we are not suffering because of what people did to us. We are suffering because of the meaning. This person, there's a meaning that is driving the suffering. Life is too short. Can we make that decision? Life is too short to suffer. I read that big book called A Course in Miracles. It's a very interesting book, but so huge. It's volumes and volumes. And it brings up these lessons so clearly that any act that you see someone acting out of alignment, out of fear, out of frustration, they are actually crying out for help. And the only way to heal them, to relate with them, is from a place of love. Be the grown-up. Because when you hear them, complaining, frustrated, they're crying. They're crybabies. They're crying. See them as a baby. You're going there to listen to them and say, tell me, really? And show understanding and empathy. Then your intelligence will help the world. Let me pause there and see, is there any questions? Are we getting something from here? What is your take home from this session? Let me see. Unmute yourself. Tell me, what's your take home from this session today? And are you making that commitment? What's your take home? Coach Bridget, and then Ruth and Sheila. What's your take home?
My take home is to respond from a place of love and to recognize that any other response that comes to me is a cry for help.
Yes, yes, yes. And that starts now. You make that commitment. You make that commitment now. The universe will test you. You will win. Stay there. Stay grounded. No matter how tempted you are to feel angry, to feel afraid, to feel all these things, just know the only way to serve the world is actually to respond from love. Thank you so much, Coach. Ruth.
My take home this evening is to make that commitment of responding from a place of love.
Yes.
And then I think also you brought it out very well when you said hurting people hurt people. So it's actually a message they're giving us when they're hurting others. They're crying for help.
They're crying for help.
Because most of the time we look at it from the other side.
Yes.
We want to rebuke them. We don't understand them, but today I've gotten a new understanding. They're actually crying for help.
Yes. And Ruth, do you know you can never help someone that you are judging. The moment you come from that place of, oh, they're doing this because they think they are smarter than me, because you judge them, and that actually makes them impossible to change. You cannot change them. You even elevate them above you. You say, oh, this one. But when you see it as a cry for help, you're coming from a place of power. You're elevated. Your intelligence goes so high, and they actually will respect that, your intervention. Thank you for sharing. Sheila.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. That was insightful session. I think for me, my take home, I'm really encouraged by the story of when you spoke, because I like practical examples. It was so practical.
Yeah.
Because it gave a live example of how you can take yourself out of a situation and allow yourself feel the fear. What is the message? I think for me that is it's something very powerful that I've stayed with. In fact, for me, my challenge and my take home is to find a quiet place between tomorrow and the weekend and just sit and ask myself, really meet with myself and ask myself, why aren't I where
Mm.
I want to go? What's
Yeah.
stopping me? What keeps putting me in the cycles? And
Mm.
feel those feelings and have
Yes.
conversations with them.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and
Awesome.
yes, so I really like that because it's such a different take. Sometimes, you
Yes.
know, especially being in the Christian circles,
Yeah.
there's you can easily be, oh, the enemy, these things are from the
The
enemy,
devil.
this,
Yes.
you know, and you never look at it like it's serving you as a message.
Yes.
And it's not there to paralyze you. But
Mm.
then we allow, like for myself, I've allowed fear to paralyze me in
Mm.
so many ways. And now I'm just asking myself, what if my response was to ask fear, what's your
Mm.
message? And then
Mm.
let it go. Pick
Mm.
the message, make the
Mm.
changes, and move on. You
Yeah.
know, I
Mm.
wouldn't be probably where I am today
Mm. Mm.
because I've let opportunities go, I've let circumstances go because I allowed fear be the enemy and not a message that, you know, was passing and that I
Mm.
had to work on. Yeah. I
Wow.
also really like the part, and I think it ties in with, I think the session we had last week and the week
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
where I think you're talking about your intuition.
Mm. Mm.
And I think that's where now when you say you're building your quiet time, you're building your spirituality, meditation, and
Yeah.
all that, that
Yeah.
is building your inner man and building that inner intuition. And
That's right.
really, if you don't have that inner intuition, you're not able to tell the difference between a message, you're not able to tell
Mm.
when to do anything, and then your life is in a mess.
That's right.
So that also, I think for me, those are my two takes. From one, to be very in tune
Mm.
and keep in line with those disciplines to ensure my intuition and my inner man is always aware or aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And two, sitting down to just do the exercise of writing the emotions and, you know, speaking to them and
Yeah.
finding out what the messages are.
Awesome. Well done. Thank you so much, Sheila. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for being part of this program, Breakthrough with Jeff. We continue next week, same time. And Anne is going to share with us the next meeting and also share with you this recording so we are able to continue to remember and apply this message in our lives. Thank you so much. Stay at your peak state. Know that you're in control of your emotions and your thoughts. That is, God is looking to you to control those two. God will not do it for you, but He's looking to you to raise your standard in those two areas. Thank you so much. God bless you, and see you again here at Breakthrough with Jeff. Bye-bye.